On day 15, we'll be headed to Carlsbad. Along the way, we'll stop at Guadalupe Mountains National Park and look around some. We get to New Mexico.
Continue 156 miles on Montana Avenue.
156 miles, Deborah. This will be our last Border Patrol checkpoint as we head north away from the border. Supposedly. Got a dog. With a Deborah.
I see they do. A big one.
Throughout Texas and New Mexico, we make a lot better time than we thought we would. Here's a 75-mile-an-hour speed limit on a 2-lane road. Along the side of the road, we'll occasionally see a herd of pronghorn antelope mixed in with the cattle. Deborah usually saw them first. We start to catch glimpses of the Guadalupe Mountains as they rise above the Chihuahuan Desert. They're actually not part of the desert. Since they are so much higher, they have a different ecology system. But the desert around it still is very sparse. El Capitan is the signature mountain of the Guadalupe Mountains National Park, and we'll be seeing it from many different sides and in many different lights while we travel. Note the windsock on the left as we enter the national park. It can get very windy here, and it shows truckers whether they'll be blown over or not. The Guadalupe Mountains National Park is very close to the Carlsbad Caverns National Park, where we'll be tomorrow. We don't actually drive through the park since it's only trails. We'll be looking at the Visitor Center and then driving over to McKittrick Canyon and looking some. This park has no roads into the interior, only trails, so we'll be staying on the edges. At the Visitor Center, we'll see the Visitor Center, the stage station, and Frioli Ranch Museum. As we arrive at the Visitor Center, we're greeted by several black-tailed deer who seem to hang out in this area and are not afraid at all. As we look at El Capitan one more time, you can see the area around the mountains is desert and low vegetation. Kind of what we think of as West Texas, for that's where we're at. Guadalupe Peak is the highest mountain in Texas. Next we'll look at the stage station, where stages stopped along the Butterfield line that ran from St. Louis to San Francisco, and Pinery Springs was right in the middle. The desert flowers seem to be coming out all over everywhere. There's only ruins here now, but this was a major stop along the Butterfield stage line when it ran stages through this area. Even though it's only in ruins now, this is what it looked like when a stage would have approached it. Now we'll head over to the Frioli Ranch area and we'll walk out to Manzanity Springs. The first settlers in this area were the Ratter brothers in the 1870s running cattle. And then the Smith family took over in the 1900s and had a truck farm here. They're here because of the spring, which pumps out 6 gallons of water per minute. In the 20s and 30s, there was a school in this red house for the 8 local children. The school teacher was paid $30 a month, room, board, and a horse. We'll be heading out now to Manzanity Springs. As we walk along the path, be careful of mountain lions. Deborah thought one almost got her.
A national park today and another one tomorrow, and you are still in the Chihuahua Desert. Do you think you will ever get out of it? I hear things don't get much better once you get further north into New Mexico. Water is a scarce commodity around here, and if you have some, you are lucky. That is why I am glad I was able to move in close to this spring. It sure keeps me from getting thirsty.
Manzanity Springs is a natural upwelling of water in this area and is a local place where wildlife likes to gather and collect. Now we'll head over to McKittrick Canyon and walk along the canyon itself. While here, I'll go out and do a little exploring. I'll walk along the canyon trail to the Pratt cabin, and then back again, and then take the nature trail and look a little bit at the plants. If we'd been here in the fall, we'd see the trees exploding in colors. But now it's mainly desert, and we'll be walking along a Permian reef for much of the time. You can see the leavings of that reef here on the side of the mountain. And this is what the animals would have looked like in that time period. The trail follows an arroyo back into the canyon, and it has a rugged beauty of rocks and plants. As you get further back into the canyon, you start to see trees, and there's the Pratt cabin. And then it's time to head back and head to Carlsbad. And soon we're driving back into New Mexico, where we were with White Sands, and we said goodbye to Texas for a while, but we'll be back there as we drive to Oklahoma and stop in Amarillo. And then we settle into our hotel for the night in Carlsbad. And this brings us to the rather prickly end of day 15.